Thanks very much to Orna and London Book Fair for inviting me to chair this session. This session was based on open entries from companies. They could be publishers, they could be startups, whatever. But it's all supposed to be about what is the most innovative company product that you're seeing today. And we've got presentations from companies from all around the world. At the end of the session, we will get 6 minutes each to present. It'll be a fairly strict 6 minutes with my clock, which has a nasty buzzer at the end of it. I've already warned them about this. Then you will be invited to vote upon the winner. It's by text. It's all normal charges. There's nothing weird going on, so don't worry about that. So the numbers will come up on the screen at the end, and please do vote, because it'll be based on your vote as to who the winner is, and then we will announce the winner at the end of today at 5 p.m. and have a formal presentation at an award ceremony tomorrow. So let's get cracking, and I'd like to welcome our first presenter, Marcus Tinkle from Attingo in Sweden. Marcus.
Thank you very much.
Ready to go? Okay.
Do I have the clicker as well?
Oh. No one told me that a clicker. On there, I think.
So you have to give me 4 more seconds.
I've stopped your clock. You're okay.
All right. Lovely. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm here to tell you about Attingo today, which is an open platform for ebook lending for libraries and publishers, and is also a way of rethinking the business models that exist for ebook lending in libraries. My name is Marcus Tinkle, and if you do Twitter about this, you can do it at @AttingoSays. So let's get started. I think that many of us can relate to this picture as the publisher and the library being like a grumpy old couple, getting in fights all the time. And since the advent of the ebook, this relationship has become even more complicated. So what we cannot forget is that the publisher and the library, they serve the same mission, which is to mediate between the writer and the reader. So if their relationship does not work, everybody is left unhappy. So with ebooks that should be a natural part of the digital ecosystem, they are currently not. So we want to do something about this. Another thing, many people talk about the next Spotify for ebooks, but many fail to notice the opportunities with the library as a marketplace for the publisher. And this is especially important now with brick and mortar bookstores declining in numbers dramatically. Then the library becomes an important venue for readers to find out about books and for publishers to learn more about their readers. So there is potential here to exchange business intelligence. And also another thing is that a lot is centered today around frontlist titles. But what about the backlist? The backlist is almost forgotten. So here the library could serve as a crucial ally to actually be moving backlist as well. But for this to happen, there is a need for a non-proprietary and independent solution. And this is not the case today. So this exchange cannot really take place properly. So this is why I'm here to tell you about Attingo and the Swedish model, what we do in Sweden, which is kind of unique, and we hope that we can bring it out in the world. Basically, in Sweden, the ebook is not treated as a commodity as in the rest of the world. So the models are completely different. They don't emulate the ones of the physical book with licenses and such. Instead, the ebooks are treated as a service, which means that libraries are given free access to the catalogs. There are no barriers to entry, really. Instead, the libraries, they pay publishers for every loan that is made. So no caps on the number of loans, no barriers as such, no licenses, just borrow as much as you want, but pay for it. Half time. So this is Attingo, and Attingo is a dashboard where publishers can upload their titles and make them available to libraries on a pay-per-loan basis, and for libraries to say, these are the titles that interest us, and this is how much we are ready to pay. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this. Basically, publishers set the price. So the price can vary, like new titles can cost much more and backlist titles can cost less. But in this way, access is allowed, and at the same time, the publisher can control lending by controlling the price instead of windowing, which can be frustrating for readers. Also a great tool for self-publishers and other content providers in general that can make their content available through Atingo to libraries. And of course, libraries say this. So like publishers set the price and libraries say we are ready to pay this. The result is that publishers and libraries meet on their own terms. So both are empowered with this model. So basically, what do we have? What kind of advantages have we got with the Atingo model? Basically, it allows for access. And I mean, with ebooks, this is exactly what we want. Why do we want ebooks to behave as physical books? With Atingo, we can protect the interest of the publisher as well, because the publisher controls the price. So it bridges the gap between the writer and the reader in the end, and this is what we want to achieve. The thing with self-publishers as well, right? I mean, now the author can get in touch with the reader through their local library. Also great collaborations possible here. Lastly, the case of business intelligence, because Atingo is a non-proprietary platform, which means that this exchange can take place. For instance, libraries collecting reader data, anonymizing it, of course, before passing it on to publishers. So the great opportunities for both here. So in the end, like, if we want the ebook to be part of the digital ecosystem, then let's treat it as such. And thus, like, everyone will be left happy. I hope we can take this model out in the world now. Thank you very much.
You've been very good and come in half a minute under, so
yeah,
definitely
30 seconds, lovely.
Can you just give us an idea of how far you've got so far? How old is the company and how many clients? Yeah.
Absolutely. So the platform is in use since November, and since then we have 30 libraries working with us in Sweden. So this is so far only in Sweden, but of course we want to see how this model could work on a global stage as well. We got approximately 3,000 titles within Atingo right now also, from the publisher side.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much. That's our first presenter, Marcus Turkel from Atingo.
Thank you.
So now I'd like to welcome, we have two presenters. We've bent the rules, unbelievable. For Bookmate from Russia, well, they have come from Russia, James Appel and Irina Shevaleva.
Congratulations on nailing it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Does the microphone work?
Yeah?
Wow.
Good. Right.
Super.
There's two of us. Don't talk over each other.
Oh, there's the time's running. Okay, hi. We're Bookmate, and I'm Irina, and I'm head of content.
And I'm James Appel, and I'm head of global content acquisition.
So we've been running for about 3 years, and we are a social reading service. And we are actually a leading reading service for the Russian-speaking audience across the world. So our core market is Russia. But we are expanding globally. We're already expanding to Turkey and Latin America, and are planning to expand to 30 more countries this year. And today we're going to talk to you about how to bring your books to emerging markets.
But just a second, Irina. Let's stop talking about Bookmate for a second and let's start talking about innovation, because that's what we're here for. Do you know what? Everybody in this room is an innovator. I mean, that's why we're all here. In fact, I can't actually believe that we've been invited to a conference where Martha Lane Fox speaks about innovation, and here I am addressing this audience about innovation as well. This is completely ridiculous. However, despite all the great ideas that are going back and forth in this room, despite all the great innovations that are being discussed, we think at Bookmate that everybody in this room is kind of missing out on a major issue. You see, all these innovations that are being discussed today, largely, are being talked about in terms of eking out that 1 or 2% here or there in markets that are already saturated, markets that look like that. We think that is the kind of world that you in the publishing industry in London and in New York and wherever you've all flown in from are kind of looking at. Here's how we see the world. All that green. In fact, you know what? Forget the grey. We're also looking at those countries that you're looking at as well.
Beware.
We are very much focused on a global solution to a global problem, bringing reading to everybody around the world. So how do we do it, Irina?
We've cooked up our Coca-Cola formula, a secret sauce. And we've practiced and proved our business model in Russia, where we're running for the 3 years already. And this is one of the most highest piracy markets. And maybe the things on this slide are already familiar to you, but you've never probably thought about them as a combination of things that actually makes it work. So the first ingredient of our sauce is subscription, but wait, don't roll your eyes. The previous session, everyone's talking about it, but it's not exactly this thing that we have. We see subscription as the only viable solution to piracy. Because if you're trying, and that's what some companies are trying to do, if you're trying to sell an e-book file for $10 at a market with low GDP, where it's also accessible for free, it's not really working out. What we are doing is we come up with an affordable price point, and we don't just offer a file, there's no download. We offer an experience, so it's syncing everything across all the devices, it's what your friends read, it's far more than just a file. And another thing for you as publishers for subscription is that we're streaming books. There's no download, so it's safer. Distribution is another thing that subscription actually allows us to do, is unprecedented distribution. These guys out there, they all read books. And the only company, like the oil company, that has access to them are mobile operators. And subscription bundles perfectly with mobile operators. These guys are used to daily payments and they're small and affordable. So an extra service such as reading books pairs wonderfully with mobile operators. And we've already signed contracts in Russia and are rolling out projects bundled with mobile operators. So this model really works to reach a massive demographic of like billions of people. The next thing is multi-platform. Of course, if you're addressing billions of people, they are bound to have many devices. So we are not just multi, but we're pan-platform. If you want to read on your desktop, read from your desktop. iOS, Android, that's very clear, but also Windows Phone and Yota Phone. And ladies and gentlemen, please, I want a bit of your attention. Welcome the most technically advanced solution, the crappy phone Bookmate. So this is something that is going to bring Bookmate to billions of people like this, for example, who are only starting their experience and the only phone that they have is this Nokia that you hate or maybe you love as this thing that you had yesterday and feel nostalgic about, but for people it's the only source of their digital entertainment, and we've provided a solution for them to start their experience there, and then when they upgrade to their Android phone or a smartphone, which they probably will do, and then have another device and another device, they will take their Bookmate experience with them. Another thing is social, and social is not just pressing the like button, it's everything that is happening on the platform. Every action can be exported onto Facebook without you even having to do anything, and you can see what your friends are reading because that's the best recommendation tool. You don't have to go to them offline, just see what they read. And analytics, for analytics I'll hand on to the guy with the suit.
The guy in the suit has to talk about data. Okay, so obviously, I don't need to tell you in the industry here what you can do with data. So I'll take you through a few examples instead. So we know on Bookmate that those who pick up War and Peace, probably the most unreadable book in Russian history, only about 87% of them, 12% of them actually get through to the end, and 87% of them can't make it all the way through. So we've got a couple of examples. One of them, this guy, Vladimir. He kind of picked up War and Peace, read a little bit of it, and unfortunately he got stuck on war. So far. This guy is another guy. It's Ivan. Ivan picked up War and Peace. He read it immediately the day after for 5-10 minutes on the train. He read it again 10 minutes or so, maybe in the bathroom at work. Maybe he read a bit more at night on the way to bed. Maybe he read a bit more when it was rainy at the weekend. And in the end, he finished it. And he shared it on Facebook, and 12 of his friends said, "Great, you finished War and Peace, this is brilliant." And 3 of them picked it up off the wall, picked it up off a bookshelf and read it themselves. This is the power of Bookmate, bringing data to publishers.
And the last slide, thank you very much for turning this awful thing off. So these things separately are just features. So some of the companies are attempting them, but they're doing just very separate attempts. What we are doing is combining them, adjusting them, and proving the way how they can work together to solve a particular solution, which is bring books to people across the world who want to read.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, no time for questions.
Okay.
You overran. As much as I really would like to ask you questions, perhaps I can ask you them later. I'm glad we allowed you to do it as a pair. It would have been a bit weird if you'd had to talk to yourself like that as well. That would be a bit strange. Right, so on to our third presenter, Sam Hancock from HarperCollins.
Hi.
Yep.
So you'll recognise the Wonders brand from everybody's favourite TV personality, Brian Cox. He's the dulcet-toned, floppy-haired wonder, you might say, who makes science easy for you. He explains everything. He captures the beauty of science and distills it down into easily digestible chunks. So we have the privilege of publishing his works across all formats. And when we were originally sitting down thinking about what we're going to do with this brand, we asked ourselves, what do we want to do in the long term for this brand? And that is, we want to create a natively digital proposition in a world where content is being consumed digitally. We want to create a lasting and enduring relationship with readers. We want to be offering readers products that they want to hire again and again to do the jobs that they need to be done. In this instance, it's explaining science and the seemingly impenetrable truths that make up our world. And also, we wanted to give the author a valuable platform for engaging with his readers. So this all started with the universe, and this was before my time. In fact, the universe was before all of our time, but sorry, excuse me. We created back in April 2012 a beautiful 3D rendering of the solar system. People could go around, they could explore, they could find tiny things in the solar systems, they could interact with quarks, they could also interact with the biggest planets in our solar system. So this was really our first attempt at answering that question. How are we going to create a product that people are hiring to do the jobs that they want to be done? And people loved it. These guys at the top, the big boys, were really nice about it. As were Apple. They made it into the editor's choice in the App Store. It was the top grossing app in the overall paid iPad chart in the UK. And it was featured in an iPad TV ad. It was all of 2 seconds, but we were pretty happy with that. So I guess we got to that stage. It was brilliant. We'd got a lot of money in the bank, and lots of consumers were engaging with the product. That's all fine and good. But actually, how do the question we asked ourselves was, how do we make this into more than a one-hit wonder? How do we learn from this product, both the good, so what was brilliant, and what was bad, and actually how people were using it? So for us, that was to concentrate on the job people were hiring it for, i.e. making science easy, making it accessible. How we answer that question in the long term, and how we also continue to create a natively digital experience. I'm going to go on to talk a little bit about that, but the ultimate answer to that question is we wanted to build something, then subsequently play with it, and then iterate it. No product's made perfect, so we wanted to build on that success and learn from it. So here, a seemingly slightly dull slide, but actually I think this is perhaps one of the most fascinating ones. Learning from users doesn't have to be expensive. We got everything, lots of feedback via iTunes, and also from the anonymized analytics that we built into the product. So this graph here is showing how many people are using the search functionality of the app on a daily basis. And that sort of thing is vital in helping us shape the new product. Indeed, also process, I think without having a solid agile process where we built a product, iterated it, and then learned from it in this constant feedback loop was, that was invaluable. So process was actually underpinned all of the, successful creativity. And now here's what came out.
floats on the surface of the water and actually uses the surface of the water to sense its prey.
So just to quickly wrap up, we created a beautiful product that was loved by reviewers, by Apple, and I think most importantly for us, we got some great stats on user engagement from this. So we've seen up to 25% of our users converting to social login. We've got average session times, which is, I think, my favorite metric. We've improved upon University. People are engaging with this product more. We've got a 4-star US and UK rating across the app stores. And we've got the apps are both seamlessly interlinked. So we're building a platform on which we can offer Brian Cox the opportunity to engage with his readers on an ongoing basis. And there's much more to come. Just the snapshot of things that we're thinking about at the moment here.
Okay, next thing we have to wrap it up there. Thank you very much. That's Sam Hancock from HarperCollins UK. And sticking with the UK, next presenter is Simon Dickens from Loved by Kids.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, everyone. As Paul said, my name is Simon Dickens. I'm from Loved by Kids, the company behind Story Station. Firstly, what is Story Station? If you go into any primary school up and down the country, you'll see teachers with a picture book perched on their knee, reading to children and using the story to introduce them to the future subjects that they'll be learning and also to, frankly, the joy of reading. Story Station allows teachers to take this to the next level. It's a digital reading and learning platform that's been created exclusively for schools with content from some of the leading children's authors and illustrators, such as Emily Gravett, Mick Inkpen and Tony Ross. Featuring lesson plans and activity sheets, animated stories, educational games and creative functions, the unique Story Station experience utilises technology to transform the much-used and much-loved picture book into a truly immersive learning experience for children. The children can engage with stories and characters like never before, seeing stories come to life via vibrant animations and even being able to use the software to make their own animations. At the same time, all the titles on the platform have been linked into the early years foundation stage and key stage 1 curriculum, allowing teachers to really maximise the potential of great stories and great characters to teach topics as diverse as geography, history and PHSE. That's the product, but really what I wanted to do in this presentation is to take you through, if you will, our journey of innovation as a company in terms of creating this product from its original idea inception through to where we are now, which is a launch business. So if I start at the top left-hand corner of the presentation as you see it, at an organisational level, we've had to transform ourselves from a traditional print publisher and packager, Top That Publishing, into now a multimedia business loved by kids. We've had to evolve from being very much a B2B business into being a B2C business, selling now direct to teachers. And this really has meant we've had to evolve a completely new sales and marketing infrastructure. In terms of capability, we've also had to quickly learn how to do new things and gain new expertise, producing animations, creating educational resources, and obviously developing software itself. And certainly in terms of the educational side of things, believe me, teachers are as demanding as any retailer. In terms of innovation, we've also formed partnerships that we just wouldn't have been able to as Top That Publishing. Our traditional competitors have become our partners. Our customers have become our resellers. We've also had to innovate very much in terms of our business model. So from going from co-editions and discount to RRP and unit prices, we're now at software licensing and subscription models. And from the previous session before this one, we all know how polarizing subscription models are within the industry, and therefore how innovative we've had to be in order to get publishers to take this on board. And here's another innovation for you, a digital platform helping to sell physical books. booksellers, large and small, are involved in StoryStation. Why? Because the platform celebrates picture books and it celebrates reading in the broadest sense. For example, independent bookshops, particularly those that sell to schools and make a lot of their business and stay afloat by selling to schools, see StoryStation as a means, one, of earning revenue from digital, but two, also from selling more books to those schools and those children, those teachers that are using those books more and more as part of their everyday teaching. And finally, StoryStation, from an innovation perspective, is a new way of learning. The response from our early access program of schools has been absolutely phenomenal. The children love it as much as the teachers. So this concept of immersive learning, of children learning when they don't even realise they are, which, albeit isn't particularly innovative in places like Finland, is still relatively new in the UK and certainly relatively new in the primary sector in the UK. So if I can kind of summarise why I'm standing here and why we're entering StoryStation into these Innovation Awards, really I think that StoryStation and the business behind it, Loved by Kids, demonstrates a level of diversification and risk-taking that you just do not often see in a company of that size, and certainly within the publishing industry. We're an entrepreneurial business. We are an ambitious business. However, because we're based out in rural Suffolk and because we're quite small, a lot of what we do, a lot of our ventures go beneath the radar. We hope that entering this Innovation Award will help us to promote what we're trying to do within the wider publishing sector. So please check us out yourselves at lovedbykids.com and see the great stuff that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, you've come in under time, so just to ask you a quick question. Again, actually, I would just like to know, how far have you got down the road with this, and what's the sort of take-up been so far? Yeah, so we launched the platform at the Education Show 2 weeks ago. That was our launch event. Everyone that came to see us at our stand asked to sign up for a free trial. We're offering 30-day free trials. So we got almost 200 free trials over the 3 days that we were there. Literally everyone that came wanted one, and those trials are all happening right now. And obviously that was the first event in the programme, and then we're sort of moving forward from there. Certainly, if the enthusiasm we got at the show is anything to go by, we hope this is going to be a great business. Okay, all right. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Simon Dickens from Loved by Kids. And actually, just to be slightly cheeky and intervene here at this point, but just so people are aware, the Technology Strategy Board is running a contest which is going to be announced very soon around the use of design in education services, which is quite big. It's like over £1 million or something. So this is for when companies collaborate together to undertake research and development around design in educational tools and services. So again, if anyone's interested in knowing more, have a word with me afterwards and I'll put you on to the right person. Right, sorry, holding you up there, Kate. So our fifth presenter today is from Nosy Crow and Kate Wilson.
I'm sorry, I've got to do things.
You've got to plug in, haven't you?
I'm sorry.
So just bear with us. I won't take that off your 6 minutes.
It's very generous, if I can say so.
I'll be very kind. I should have done that plug, actually, while you were plugging in.
You should have, I know, but I didn't want to interrupt. I thought it would be distracting.
Okay.
And wrong. Oh, look, see, this is no good. Okay, it would be good to have it.
Oh, that's looking good.
Excellent. That's looking as if it's a real thing. Great, okay. So that was really stiff competition and I feel slightly hysterical. But moving on, what is Nosy Crow? For those of you who don't know, and why should you, we're a publisher publishing children's books and apps. We're new, we were founded in 2010, we began publishing in 2011, both books and apps. But we're a mix of experienced publishers and video game makers. We're small, we've got 15 full-time equivalents, and we are multi-award winning. We've published over 100 books and 12 apps so far. We're independent, and that's important to us. The money we spend on making apps, I could spend on wine or cheese or shoes for my children. We're London-based, we are in Southwark. These are the principles that we employ when we are making digital reading experiences for children. We think that on screen, reading is competitive with other media, with film, with games in particular. We think that children have very high expectations of multimedia, interactivity, and response from screens. When we show them straight ebooks, they tap, and they are disappointed. We think, therefore, that reading must not be the most boring thing a child can do on screen. We think this as a business, but we also think this because we care about children and literacy. We do not think it is about adding bells and whistles to existing books. Instead, we must create new kinds of reading experiences using multimedia and interactivity. And this is how we do it. There are 6 of us involved in making those apps. The top 3 of us are from a games company, a games-making background, video game background. The bottom 3 of us are from a publishing background. It's a unique fusion, we think, a unique balance of those 2 sets of skills. We are innovative in terms of our concepts. So when we come up with ideas for digital reading experiences, for example, Little Red Riding Hood, we allow there to be different endings to the story, depending on the route that Little Red Riding Hood takes through the woods. You can't do that in a book. We are making something that can only happen on screen. That's innovative. We're innovative in terms of our writing. That's me with my writing hat on. We're not finding it's very easy to find people who can themselves do writing of this kind, so we do it ourselves. And it operates at almost 2 levels. We have a narrative kind of flow, and then on top of that, we've got a whole load of extra conversation that happens. In terms of illustration, we want to bring the beauty of picture books to the screen. Here's an example again from Little Red Riding Hood. That applies to how we draw characters. It applies to how we create 3D scenes. And it means that we are interested in not being limited just to the area of the screen. The lit up bit there is the screen. Everything else also exists and is available for the child to explore. We don't want to be limited by the touch screen, which is actually quite small. In terms of animation, we're great. We're using Maya to do this kind of thing. So this is Ed animating Little Red Riding Hood, which we released in May of last year. You can see how he's using that to do expression and all sorts of other stuff. We use children. We only use children as our voice actors. My experience as a mother was that my daughters listened to big girls, but not so much to me. So I thought that it would be interesting to bring that understanding of how children are responsive to children as teachers, children as storytellers to the apps, and that's what we've done. In terms of music, we use a BAFTA award-winning video games creator to create our music, which is a loop without being boring. It was interesting, we started with music that had beginnings, middles, and ends. That didn't work. We didn't know how long a child would spend on each screen. In terms of our software, this is an area where we are perhaps most innovative. We don't use a toolkit off the shelf. We make our own code. And just to say, if anybody says that coding is not innovative, here's a little example of why I think it is. Each dot is an asset. It could be audio, it could be an image, it could be text. Each line is a link between those assets. There's a timeline running along the top there so that you can see what Will, in this case, is doing with our code as he puts together one of our apps last year. Absolutely remarkable, I think, this bit of how that coding happens. The key element of our innovation, though, I think, is empowering the child. And I just wanted to show you this, if we can. This is India. Hope this is going to work. Wasting time here. Should never have gone for full screen. Note to self. This will work perfectly, of course. Are you going to take this off me? You are, aren't you? You're like totally going to take this off me.
Go on. Look, it stopped. The question is it going to actually work, though? Isn't it?
Well, it did. I mean, I promise you it did. I could do all the voices, but that's not very helpful, is it? This is not going to work, is it?
I don't think so.
I'm going to try once more, people, with feeling. Okay, techno fail. We're going to try once more, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, this video is currently unavailable. Oh, come on.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Simone. I am India. This is a piece of food now. It's made on the video.
This is a video sent in by a mum. Just a mum. What I love about this is she will not keep showing this. She's so interested in it, she takes it back. She can't tell her mum what she's doing with it because she's too interested. I just thought that was great. The results of this, we're still here. We made money making apps, which is in itself remarkable. We get huge Apple support. When Apple introduced the interactive kids stories section of the kids category in October of last year, 10 of the 38 apps that they featured were Nosy Crows. USA Today, among others, gave us huge critical acclaim. Nosy Crows, the Steven Spielbergs of apps, they said. Most importantly to us, we have parental trust. Nosy Crow apps take storytelling to the next level. I know when I can download a Nosy Crow app and pass it to my daughter without even looking at it first. In the digital world, that is unparalleled. Andrew Romberg, who runs Jellybook, said on Twitter a day or so ago, we were in conversation about the demise of ReadMill. The innovative startups that thrive in publishing are those that create their own content. Good Lord, we create our own content.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kate. Right, and last but not least, I guess you're going to have to... Oh, no, you won't have to plug in again because there's only... Yeah, you should be all right. So from Spain, Fabian Pedrero from Crea.me, I guess. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Fabian Pedrero from Creamy, and this is my first pitch in English, so please be patient. We are a bunch of crazy colleagues from La Mancha, passionate with design, books, and technology, and we are here today to tell you a story, because we work on it. We love to create stories and different content for brands. We call it publishing branded content. Let's get started. Once upon a time, there was an NGO called Oxfam Intermon with a presence in over 90 countries. By that time, there has been a reduction in development cooperation in many different countries in Europe, for instance, in Spain with 70%. So Oxfam wanted to send us a message about it by sharing with us different stories that was happening in the world. Stories of people who fight every day to change and improve their lives. For Oxfam want to do it in a very creative and innovative way. Then Oxfam decided to send some talented cartoonists to travel to these countries to see firsthand all these stories so that they could later draw and show with us all them. And sorry. And then nice guys from Spain, from La Mancha, will turn them into a digital version. This is the first one. So Miguel Angel and Cristina meet the situation of violence in Guatemala. This is the story of a native woman who started working when he was 12, when he was abandoned by her parents. He got married when he was 17, and he has 3 children with a husband who hit her so much that one day he fell down on the floor covered in blood, in the face of her 3 children. This is the second one. Alvaro traveled to Larache in Morocco to meet the strawberry women. These are girls who have been working both as they were 12, picking strawberry night and day for less than €4 a day. This girl has no other option because there are no primary school, only primary school in their small villages. So the cities are far away and they give up studying quite soon. Paco Roca moved to Mauritania, another country with the age are decreasing, and many of the voluntary workers go back home for lack of funds. This aid allows small villages to create an economic structure based on self-management. But sometimes everything achieved so far can be lost with the simple failure of a water pump. And this is Sonia, the next one, who traveled to Colombia, a country that has lived for decades in an armed conflict with a false positive. Does anyone know them? Okay. The false positive involve members of the army in the murder of poor children who are displaced from rural areas by tricks and false promises to pass themselves off as a fighter and soldiers who die in combat. And now, I've got a question for you. Would you like to know the end of these stories? Would you? I'm sorry, but these stories will never end because they are true. And that's really important. Not my English, my horrible English, not Osfan, not the cartoonists and the travels and the fantastic comics, not Creamy and our fantastic application. None of that is important. The most important thing is, ladies and gentlemen, that we all can make some of these stories someday have a better ending. And that's simple. That's the best reward. This is the best innovation. And finally, I would like to show you our brand new project, Comic on Tour, Viñetas de Vida in Spanish. This is a digital comic library. It's a multi-platform application. It's free, and it's already available on a web browser in the Apple Store and Google Play. And it will be available soon in an English language, better than mine, I hope. And I hope you like it. Thank you very much.
We've got a little bit of time, so you could just tell us about some other partners that you work with, other clients, other companies?
Brand company, no, this is our first work from a branded company.
Okay.
I hope they like it.
Right, okay. And are you looking for companies to work with?
Of course, I'm
London
ready.
Book Fair as well? Yes?
I'm all ears.
Right,
Okay.
good. Okay, excellent. All right.
Thank
well,
you.
Thank you very much. That's our last presenter in this session. So, as I stop this from making the horrible noise, good, it stopped. Can we have the slide with the numbers on? Excellent, here we go. So here's the fun bit now. You can get your phones out and use them legitimately and not be told off. So please choose one of the companies there. You need to send a text to that number, 020 3322 5822. Okay? And just text the code for which of the presentations that you just heard you thought deserves to win. And, you know, we're focusing on innovation. You can be the judges of what you think we mean by that, but obviously something that really sort of stands out from the competition, something that's really original. So, for the first company that we heard from Sweden, Atingo, that's the library-based solution, 856624. Okay, for Bookmate from Russia, that's 856625. HarperCollins with the Wonders of Life, 856626. Love by Kids Story Station, that's 856633. Nosy Crow, Apps Meeting Books, 856634. And we just heard from Crea.me from Spain, 856635. Technology willing, that will have all worked. And we'll leave it open for a little while so you get a chance to send your texts. And I won't stand in Dan Franklin's way any longer. I know you have some mysterious announcement to make. So thanks very much, and thanks to all the presenters as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all of your votes. But the winner was Bookmate. So Bookmate, we want to congratulate Bookmate and say very well done.